100%. And that's a great segue into our next topic. You continued to see, hear Kyle Shanahan talking about, not really fully saying that Lance is the guy. He's kind of holding him back a little bit. So why do you think Shanahan might be doing that?
I think there's multiple things going into it, right? One, he wants Lance to outright win this job. And I think knowing Lance and knowing what we just talked about, how he's been doubted his whole life, I think Shanahan's playing this smart because I feel like he knows what motivates Trey Lance. He knows how he ticks. And he doesn't want to pat him on the back too early, right? He wants to make sure that his head stays on straight. He stays focused at the task at hand. And if for some reason it all falls apart and he is not the starter week 1, then there's no pressure, right? So I think that's a part of it. I also think that it's reality. They're trying to get something for Jimmy G. And there's not a lot out there, I'm sure. But if you can do anything to pump his value and to get anything for him, you've got to continue to do that. And then I would say lastly is there's really no rush for Shanahan to say that Trey Lance is the starter, because if you can hold off the Lions and the league from truly knowing what's about to hit them, that's the best case scenario. Unleash them week 1, the day before the game, the day of the game, however you want to do it, and let him wreak havoc on the league. And the less notification they have to game plan for that and get ready for that, the better it is for this team.
Yeah, I really like that answer. That's one really good way of looking at it. And the way that I look at it is different. I mean, I get your point. That's a really good one. I just look at this as Lance needs to prove to the team that he's the best quarterback.
Yep.
And you're starting to hear a lot of that from players when they're talking about him. They're all, you can hear that they're getting jazzed and jacked up about getting a chance to play with this guy. I think it was DJ Jones yesterday who, when asked about it during the presser, was like, yeah, of course we're watching the kids out of this world. That's not exactly what he said, but that's basically, and everybody that they talked to was kind of saying the same thing. And so I don't think that, we're saying holding him back. I don't really think that he's holding him back. I think he's really letting him go. But in terms of naming him the starter, it's like you said, he's forcing him to earn this job, and he's going to continue to force him to win it and make it real. I think really what Shanahan wants is he wants it to be where he doesn't have a choice but to play Trey Lance, because Trey Lance is doing such a good job that if he doesn't put him in the game, he's going to look like a fool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually want to piggyback on something that Javier Vega said. Javi's a very smart guy, and I was a part of a Twitter chat group earlier on today, and he said something that was very interesting, very astute, and I think everybody needs to hear it. Is it's semantics at this point. He's saying, hey, this isn't a battle. He's not playing with the ones, but really he is playing with the ones. Whenever does a backup quarterback play with the starting receivers on a regular basis and the starting center? Why else would you do that? So yes, you can say he's technically not playing with the ones, but they're getting him a familiarity with all the starting weapons and the snap exchange with the starting center. There's a reason for that. And it's brilliant. It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. No, that's definitely. And then the other one too was on Wednesday's practice when Lance did sneak in and they did have him run that one rep with the first team, and Shanahan was questioned about it. He said, "Well, that's a play that we want our first team offensive line to get used to running, and only Trey's going to run it." I think that was a little bit of a tell as well.
For sure, absolutely, It is. And by the way, the one play that he did have against the first team, guess what? 15 yards, no issue. So he can do it against any of them, I promise you.
Yeah. No, he's super athletic. He's just a freak. It's amazing stuff. Before we jump over to the next topic, I just wanted to hit this one really quick. This is, I think, a good one. We can kind of take a look at this one. But Luke's a great commenter. He says the Lance comp, as close as he can get it, is Alex Smith. He drafted at 20 years old. Athletic, super smart, fast, classy, great pre-snap reads. Obviously Lance is bigger, better long ball. Alex maybe with a little bit of a quicker release. What do you think about that?
There's definitely some traits that match up for sure, but again, you can't get a perfect comp. I mean, he's a little bit of Alex Smith. He's a little bit of Donovan McNabb. He's a little bit of Cam. You know what I mean? Got a little Allen to him, a little Mahomes. You can make up all these things and piece together a quarterback, but again, there's just no perfect comp. When you compare him, it's almost like I don't know. When you compare him to Mahomes, let's say, there's a lot of similarities there, right? Strong arm, big arm, put together well physically, can move. But then there's so many differences. It's like, well, yeah, he's kind of got Mahomes / Allen physical traits, but then he's conservative like a young Russell Wilson. So it's like you just can't get a perfect beat on him. There's nothing out there that matches it. And when Herbert came in, I thought that there was the closest comp was Allen. But before Allen, when Allen came in, that's the one that I said the most. I have no idea who he plays like, but I can tell you he's going to be special. And that's the same feeling I'm getting about Trey. I don't know exactly who his perfect comp is. I just know he's going to be special because he's something different.
Yeah. And the one thing real quick on this topic, the way that I'll answer this is, you and I had a long discussion about 3 weeks ago with regards to if Alex Smith had been on the 2019 49ers, did they win that Super Bowl? And I think both of us kind of felt like, yes, he would. And that's the one thing, with Luke's, comparison here, that is true. Because when you think about Alex Smith, part of the problem that Alex Smith ran into early in his career is he didn't come into a situation like Trey Lance is coming into. He didn't come into a team that had talent all over the place, that had a competent head coach. Whatever you want to say or whatever I'm going to say, because I get on Kyle Shanahan quite a bit for the wins and losses, but I'm not going to say that he was incompetent. He's a better head coach, I think, than Mike Nolan, even though his record isn't all that great, right? At least he's got a winning season under his belt and so on and so forth. So, I think that's the one thing that I would say there. Smith gets underrated a little bit because of with the situation he got thrown into. So I like that one. I like that as a good comp or somebody that people really remember because they saw a lot of him in San Francisco. Trey Lance's career is not going to be anything close to Alex Smith, partly because he has that talent and he's got a heck of a group around him. So
I'll say this: if you want to compare him to 49ers, if you take everything good that Kaepernick did and threw away all the bad, and took everything good that Alex Smith did and threw away all the bad, and you made that a quarterback, that's Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Because you're getting because then you're getting the uber athleticism with the running, right? Because of the speed that both guys have.
You're getting the powerful arm, all of it. Yep.
Yeah, getting the powerful arm that Kaepernick had with maybe the accuracy of Smith and so on. That's a really good one. I like that.